So we'll pass over to Clive. Ros, it shouldn't be a long briefing, but I don't never want to promise anything because sometimes my timelines get blown out. But I'll hand over to Clive for
Now
a
you're not
discussion.
you're not having a dig at me, are you?
Not at all. I'm having to dig it myself.
Oh, that's all
Myself.
right. I'll let you go.
Yeah. So Clive, first up,
What do we have? We had the
temporary relocation.
yeah, let's open share that one. Oops, go away. Everyone see it's just a Word document that I'm sharing at the moment.
Yes.
Yep. So basically, I'm just going to following a review we had to ensure that the Cambrai and Mannum meeting rooms were fit for purpose. We've been able to do some certain minor works, and they've been completed with minimal disruptions, and the rooms overall were still usable. So what we've done with Cambrai, we put a fire escape door to the front of the building on the swimming pool side now, and that was installed within the existing window, which helped keeping cost and minimal. There wasn't any structural requirements to install that. At the Mannum meeting room, we've now put a swipe access to the internal door. This will enable people to enter the meeting room without swiping, but to leave the meeting room to go back out to the general area, staff area. It'll require a swipe. So we can't operate that at the moment because then that will possibly, if we had an emergency, that would actually lock people in there, which is against the fire code. In the future, we'll have a external door to the northern area, and once that's installed, we'll be able to implement that part of the swipe security. The next steps, what we've got, which will require a major disruption to that meeting room, and we're looking. Unfortunately, when you're working with IT contractors and also some building contractors, we expect that probably will require the meeting room for up to probably about 3 months, which could mean 3 possible meetings. And then, unfortunately, because of the timing, that will bring us towards the Christmas period, and we know that kind of trades and supplies are very hard to obtain or get things moving at that stage. So once we close the meeting room for use, we'll then put the other side of that double door that will be fixed. So then that will stop people, so I suppose, just opening that second door. We're not going to fill it in. It's just easier to lock it in its current position. We will remove the existing wheelchairs and also the large table. Majority of those wheelchairs, which the councils use at the moment, most of the gas cylinders on those have probably passed their day. With the large table, we'll try and repurpose that to a different site or dispose of that in compliance with the disposal of assets, land and assets policy. We need to remove the corner cupboards as you currently come in on the right-hand side. They will be in way of like a U-shaped table configuration. So they will need to be removed. The kitchen servery window will be replaced with a glass or wooden door for a higher degree of soundproofing. And then the current audio visual, which is the data projector, and the screen are approximately about 10 years old. We'll replace those with a large monitor on that wall in the same area as the current screen. And we'll have the installation of the current portable cameras and monitors, which are on like trolleys, and they will actually be put up against the both the side walls. Then we'll actually be trying to push data cables from there's actually 2 pits in the floor at the moment, and we'll try and push some data cables through from the northern pit to the southern pit. We're not sure we'll be able to do that if we can't get the data cables through the existing conduit. We'll have to channel the cement floor, grind it out, and put some conduit down, and then put the cables through. So that will allow us to have basically controls from that southern side where the U-shaped table is. Then following that, the adjoining office where at the moment our governance officer is, we'll punch a hole in that wallway to make way for basically like the start of an airlock going out to the for an external northern door. Then after that, the whole area will need a repaint, obviously with the removal of the cupboards on the side, and also the work which is being done around the kitchen area, and also recarpet of the meeting room. So the carpet which got that we completed when we had the mold issue, we didn't recarpet the large meeting room because we expected that there would be some work required there. So we've got the carpet. So basically the carpet has been included in our budget already, and also all the modifications that that I've actually put into this document will be payable out of our existing budget, which will be the building maintenance budget and also our IT budget. So that's just an overall view of what's going to happen. Quite happy to take any questions if there are any.
Yep. Clive, if I can just ask, remember we had a chat about the room hire and the whole question of access to the toilets. Has that been thought about?
What we've been targeting is for suitability of council meetings. So there would have to be some arrangements if the room's going to be used while the room's being used during normal office hours, the toilet facilities will be available at the Mannum Leisure Centre. It would have to be to negotiation of who's actually using the room out of hours, if council allows it to be used out of hours. And look, obviously there would be probably a bit of leeway if there were staff members there. But, you know, we do actually have the issue of if we're allowing, once again, general staff in the general area, we would actually have to kind of lock down all those offices in that wing as well. So, not impossible, but there's probably after hours there would be some issues.
Just with toilet access, obviously, the leisure centre is an option, but the toilet access after hours would be an issue.
I just had a question regarding the U-shaped table. I'm aware that there's been a little bit of discussion in the past, but where I've seen other councils that have that U-shaped table, it seems to be in a very, very big room. So my questions, 2 questions, I suppose. One is the room actually going to be big enough to have that configuration? And also, like, is the U-shaped table a necessity, or is that just a preference moving forward?
So the U-shape definitely allows us to have adequate room for a gallery. we could continue to have it as we have now, but that won't allow to have like a segregation of elected members and staff at a table, and then also the gallery. So I think everyone probably would agree that it's not probably a suitable situation to have the general public behind elected members. It's better to have them at one part of the room. So the U shape, we have done a bit of measuring of it, and it is so basically at the moment, if you visualize that table that we've got at the moment is in 3 parts. So basically we would use 2/3 of that area at the moment. So it's probably, you're still using up to basically 2/3. Probably you might be a little bit closer than you have been on the larger table, but it should be quite workable. You're not, there's not a great number of documents. Everyone's using their computer. So it's basically, I don't think it'd be shoulder to shoulder, but you'll definitely be slightly closer than currently. Go ahead.
Can I just say that I sort of agree with Jeff. I don't see why a U-shaped table would be necessary. The one that's there is working all right. I mean, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. It's only extra expense.
Yep. So I suppose as the CEO would have to look at that and look at the WHS requirements as a duty to the employees. So that will be probably a deciding factor.
The point with it was having tables that were flexible or movable, so that we could adjust it for different meeting requirements to enable not only internal use but external use. The current table restricts the use of the room for multiple purposes, so that was also the point. So those tables won't necessarily be U-shaped; they'll be able to be moved, Clive, to enable whatever structure, not structure is not the right word, setting that would be required.
Citizenship ceremonies, for example, the table's right in the way. It's just not friendly to the guests and the people that are in the ceremony.
I think it's an opportunity to make the space more flexible and usable. Yeah.
Thanks, Clive. There's not any questions. Look, the key was to communicate that because of the works, rather than disrupting council meetings, that we're looking to move them to Cambrai. A report will come up to the September council meeting for consideration around that. We'll make it as tight as possible, so we're not moving from Mannum for more meetings than we have to, but we just wanted to make you aware that there's going to be some disruption, and there will be a report in the council meeting. Councillor Schulz.
Sorry, yeah, just on that, you reminded me. If it's going to be a problem like this close to Christmas, I mean, Hills Bells, it's going quick. Perhaps that could be the major work could be saved till the new year. If it's going to be 3 months and maybe plus. I'm just I'm asking the question.
Yeah, Clive's working through with the contractors, so we'll have that conversation to minimise the disruption, to ensure that we can be back into the Mannum meeting room as soon as possible.
Okay, I'll move on to the social media policy. Has that come up now on everyone's screen? No. All right, I'll have to stop sharing and reshare. All right, just give us a sec. Okay, has it come up on everyone's screen now? Yep. So the social media policy was overdue. Basically, when it was looked at, it was deemed that the current policy wasn't suitable just to have amendments. There was a complete rewrite. So basically, as you can see, I've got the draft there. probably the major parts were the authorization of users, the authorization of the various different social media platforms and approved like pages or channels. So just for instance, we have a number of Facebook pages, which are basically the main council one, and then we've got some additional ones such as for the tourism. The other part which wasn't included in the previous policy was, whoops, what's it done there? So just there was no definition on the types of communication. So what we've done is we've added the two main methods of communication, which are a one-way communication, which broadcasts a message to the broader audience without allowing feedbacks or comments in the same medium, and then two-way communication, which encourages dialogue, feedback, engagement in the same medium. So what we've done is in the policy, the only two-way communication in this same media that we were talking from is in relation to tourism, where they're promoting events or services. I suppose previously councils had where they've allowed messaging. Quite a lot of times the main message or the initial message has been hijacked and being used by the general public to voice their opinions about any number of items. I did read an article several years ago, and it talked about the 10 largest problems with social media or failures, and it kind of explained such companies such as Coca-Cola, Qantas, etc., that had issues when they gave two-way communication that, you know, even though they had departments of basically hundreds of people, they couldn't actually control social media. So we don't have anyone monitoring it 24 hours a day. So that's how we've written the policy. So, and it doesn't, we promote, and what we're doing is promoting a feedback through Have Your Say through our website. So was there anything in the policy that anyone wanted to raise or have clarification in regards to? Councillor Schultz?
Yeah, just 5.5, it says implementing the new social media accounts. Does the cost of these accounts fall in each budget department? It's not another cost to council ratepayers?
So in reality, the Facebook pages, there's no cost to them. The cost would be in relation to if a department or wanted to promote their pages. So, and to my knowledge, there's only one area of the council which have used the promotion, which is our tourism area. Yep. So basically, other than the internal resources, there's no real cost.
Okay, thank you.
I'll probably clarify. Like social media should really include websites because that's a way of communicating, and there would be to have like minimum security and to host the website page, there would be some minimal charges. You're probably looking at probably like probably $200 to $300 a year for a website. And what we've done over the period of time, there was various numbers of websites. Over, I think, the last 2 years, we're minimising those and collating those, so those type of costs aren't experienced in the future. So at one stage, we had the tourism area would be opening up a new website for every event. So there was all steamed up. The Wooden Festival, they all had their own separate websites. So what we've done is combine those to get rid of those costs, because it's quite silly having those costs for an event which may only be once every 2 years. Yeah, it's
I was just gonna positive feedback. I really like the split up between one way and two way. I do find that people are waiting until a Friday afternoon or night before they put some awful comments up or really start some stuff. So I just think if council aren't looking at the comments and replying to them, then yeah, it should just be one way. People can share it and do whatever they want on their pages, but that way it just stops the risk of defamation, all that kind of stuff. So well done.
That's the defamation is one of the issues, because now there's court cases where it's been held that whoever's Facebook page or website is owning that they should be looking that and ensuring that possible defamation against anyone's character is not formed, and things like there has been a couple of high-end cases where they've taken, I think, LinkedIn, Facebook, and Twitter. They have all had now cases against those, and they have paid out compensation because they're not monitoring those pages after people have complained about them. But we don't want to get to the point of even complaints. And having the default setting of not having comments allows us to schedule ahead, so then we don't actually have to have any of our staff members logging in at on a Saturday lunchtime to push those out and then turn comments off. So we'll go the opposite way of what we're currently setting.
I'll just raise Councillor McGregor as an apology, but she raised a question around the council employee code of conduct, which is out of date and being replaced by the employee behavioural standards and the volunteer code of conduct as well, which has just been reviewed. And I think they went to last council meeting and is being endorsed by the SMT for distribution on that. So both of those references will be updated in the policy. Is there any other questions or comments? Yes, Councillor Schultz.
Sorry, I'll be quick because time's running out and I'll be the culprit. Has anyone considered a common sense policy? I mean, I'm thinking of, got policies for all sorts of things, but if you can't find the relevant policy for what you're trying to do or whatever, it's really off the cuff. I thought something like, in the instance of no other relevant policy, refer to this policy. Do nothing either in writing, action, or verbal comment that can intentionally cause injury, insult, or inconvenience to any other person or organisation. I mean, it sounds silly, but it goes right back to basics.
So with each one of our pages, we have like terms and condition of use, and those type of items that you're talking about are also contained within there for the general public. Yeah.
So there's no sort of set policy; it's just a default thing.
Well, there's terms and conditions of using, like, for instance, the Facebook page of the Mid-Murray Council. We have terms and conditions, so they should be adhering to our terms and conditions. But if we're turning off comments, so basically we don't give them that opportunity to put any defamation against anyone else or make any statements. The only exposure that we've got is with tourism, where there'll be allowance for messaging, and to date that hasn't been hijacked by anyone, and they've had quite good comments and messages and etc. Like when people were actually looking at any, for instance, our Facebook page, it doesn't stop them from sharing that page, but once it's shared by someone, they're taking ownership by posting that, and then they take all the responsibility and any liability. So we've got our terms and conditions of use, and because we've by default we're saying that we're only having one-way communication, I think we're reduce our risk and our liability.
Yeah, but I was more sort of thinking overall, not just in terms of social media. It's thought.
we'll give that some thought, Councillor Schultz, and have a discussion at our SMT meeting on Thursday. Is there any
Thanks.
other
I'm
questions,
finished now. I'll shut up.
comments? No, we encourage feedback. It's always good. I can't see everyone on my screen, so if there's anyone that's got any comments, g'day, Councillor Myers, you made it. Any other questions or comments? So Clive, the intent is for that to come back to council in a report as well, at the next meeting?
Yep, correct.
If there's no other comments or questions, no one else has got anything to add? Look at Clive exceeding expectations and finishing 3 minutes early. Everyone gets some time back in their afternoon. Thank you, everyone. We'll have a safe afternoon and we'll see you in a week or so.